Hey, it's Pastor Steve today with the word of hope that I trust is going to bring you strength and courage in the days that we're in. I'm here at our church, St. Luke Lutheran Church, late Friday afternoon, and you can see no one else is here except me. But that's the case as it is most of the days these days. People aren't here because of the restrictions from the coronavirus pandemic. Church is mostly closed. Our parish administrator is here weekdays 9 to 12, but that's about it. And it can seem kind of empty here, even kind of cold. We have the heat turned down. I did bring in these flowers that were going to be out at worship this coming Sunday if we'd had worship here, because they are given in honor of Andy Welch, who's turning 90 years old, and his life group purchased them in commemoration of that big event. So that's kind of cool. I know that you might miss being here. I know I do. Because sometimes it seems that when we're at church, we feel closer to God, or God is closer to us. And that's wonderful. That's one of the great experiences about being in worship in a church. But here's the real truth. God is as close to us when we're away from the building as when we're here. Because one of the amazing changes that took place when Jesus came, one of the amazing transformations that happened in the new covenant, as described in the New Testament, is that now God's Spirit, the Holy Spirit, lives inside of all of us who are followers of Jesus. In the Old Testament, God's Spirit only came upon certain people, prophets and kings. But in this new covenant, God's Spirit dwells in us, wherever we're at. This happened on 50 days after Jesus rose from the dead, 10 days after he ascended to heaven. His closest followers were together in Jerusalem. They were Jews. They were celebrating the Jewish festival of Pentecost. They were together in a room. The room was shut up because of fear of the Jewish leadership. The doors were closed. The windows were closed. And then there came this mighty wind into the room, the Spirit of God. And it says in Acts chapter 2, verse 4, that they were filled with the Holy Spirit. And from that moment on, the Christian church, which that's the birthday of the church, by the way, the Christian church had a whole new character of God's Spirit fully dwelling in us. It says in 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, that the Spirit that was in us is greater than the spirit that's in the world. I think that's hopeful words for us today to give us strength and courage, because as we are facing the things that are happening in the world, and we wonder what kind of resources we have, and maybe we're worried about our resources that are limited now, remember that God, in God's fullness, is in you. Not just part of God or just, your portion of God, but God fully dwells in you. And you, therefore, as it says in 1 John chapter 4, verse 4, you have the Spirit to overcome what is happening in the world today. I pray that that's going to give you some strength and courage today as you face these days. Remember that God is in you. Take care.